connect with you again in this new year of 2015. What a powerful beginning of the new year. I hope that you're having the same experience wherever you are, and that it's both powerful and also gentle. I had the gift of starting 2015 in silence. It was a bit unexpected, but a really beautiful experience. After a full night of Kundalini Yoga chanting and feeling a little bit of that bug that was going around in the Los Angeles area, I acquired laryngitis after my Kundalini Yoga event on New Year's Eve, and the next morning, I had never experienced this before. As I opened my mouth to speak, there were no words that emerged. And so I was, just forced into a silent weekend, and initially, and then of course afterwards, it was just, it really was no longer a forced experience. It was really a gift. And 2 days of silence, spending it very internal, and really having the opportunity to bask in the kind of presence of my space and of myself and of my source, created quite a template and a foundation for this year. And in 2015, some of the astrological indications of this year is that it adds up to the number 8, which is also the number of infinity. So there is a sense of, and some of what a couple of the Kundalini Yoga leading teachers talked about was it's a year of harvesting, of celebrating, of taking in all the work of the years before. Some of you may remember that 2014 was a year of work, a year of devotion, a year of effort, and that this year is the after effect of that, and the kind of resting in the glow of all that you created and seeded and planted in 2014. And that's not to mean that it's not a year of continued growth and creating and effort, but there's more flow with that, and more kind of sitting back and opening up and receiving. Because again, we, similar to my last podcast, we can so easily work, and effort. We're never really sitting back and receiving. And so the start of my new year really took that theme on. And so as I go through all of my creations in 2015, and all of my events and all of my responsibilities, both with my work and with my family, I carry with me this theme of rest. And this theme of rest and reset. And that's such an essential part, especially of this new age. And in our lives today, there is such a quickening that it feels that there is really ever any time for that. And I was really gifted with that in my early 20s, when I was forced towards a whole period of rest, through kind of a series of challenges, health challenges and emotional challenges and financial challenges, where I had to, at that time, rely on government assistance, and was on disability and all kinds of things. And as a result, it really had forced me to explore other ways of living. And at that time is really when I was first introduced to the beauty of nature, and to the hills, and to hiking, and that really got ingrained in me. And so as I, months afterwards, returned into the workforce, into the profession that I was in at that time, which was retail, and I had developed that pattern and kept going back to it. And so I do have that ingrained, and that is part of my teaching and part of what I feel is my gift to share with you and to bring to the world. And given that, I always have to be reminded of that. And in that silent retreat, I was definitely reminded of that beauty of my own space and my own company. And I think it's so essential for us to be in community and to be with others and to be fed and to feed each other and nourish each other. And I do believe that, sages for eons have, gone off to the cave to renew and to reconnect. And so today, we do go into silent retreats, many of us around the new year in group and community. And though we are in group, we're really in our own presence, in our own space. And, really offers us the opportunity to get to know ourselves again and to appreciate ourselves. And even if we're faced in those periods with some of our shadows and darkness, we really get an opportunity to love all parts of ourselves and, and really bask in who we really are. And from that place, then we are better able to be present with others and to share with others. And, when there are challenges with others, then we're, able to walk through those challenges and come back to our center and to our space. And then again, of course, after we do something like a silent retreat, our daily practice is that continued foundation that brings us back to that experience that we had. And that's, again, the beauty and the gift that we give ourselves through our daily practice. And so, periods of resting and resetting, as well as our daily practice, are so essential. And part of what this 2015 is about. So that whatever you find yourself in, whatever challenge you may be experiencing and facing, that voice within us can always say there's really no time, there's really no money, there's really no whatever it is. And the gifts that I was given in my early 20s was because I was on financial assistance and had very little money, and the universe really found creative ways to rest and reset and adventure and journey without having to spend a lot of money, and to feel really, really full. And so I invite you to, whether you have, tons of money and can go and, take that time of rest and travel around the world or travel to a place that you've wanted to do, or if you don't, and you just have a few dollars, give yourself the gift of finding a canyon, a park, a museum, a cafe, beach that calls to you, and spend an afternoon there, and spend time there where you're journaling or just spreading out your blanket and just basking in the sun, or resting in under the tree in the shade, whatever that is for you. And when you do those acts, which I find are acts of self-love, you really are resetting, and you are putting fuel into your batteries for your journey. And then, of course, we all have the gift of Reiki, which supports us in that as well. Those of us that are attuned, and I encourage those of you out there that are listening to me that have not been attuned to Reiki to please, find your Reiki teacher and learn Reiki. I'm based in the Los Angeles area, though I also teach in Maui as well. And Also, in other parts of the area near LA, I'll be teaching in Valencia and possibly in other areas as well around the LA region, Orange County. So look up my information at sacredventures.com and do come and join me for one of my Reiki classes. And so when we're tuned with Reiki, we have within us and the seat of our palms the most restorative and restful experience. And I just this week experienced a Reiki self-treatment that just engendered this incredible sense of gratitude for this amazing gift. And shared on Facebook how I'm really quite awed after 11 years of practicing about how that will feel. And because I've been practicing 11 years, I have definitely developed the practice of allowing Reiki to do the work when I'm in self-practice. And I practice stepping out of the way, letting go and letting Reiki. And I'm just often floored at what comes through my palms and how it impacts my body and the releases and unwindings and then the flow of energy, often the sensations and then the openings that I experience in my energy centers and the overall sense of kind of well-being and heightened awareness and expansion. And we were talking about this in our latest Reiki 1 training recently about how the greatest way that you can protect yourself energetically is to be open, is for your energy centers to be open and to be strong in prana, to be filled with prana, with life force, with chi. That is the greatest way that you can protect yourself. Because when that is present for you, then any kind of force that is imbalanced or uninvited will flow out and flow through and be processed through the prana, because that's what Reiki does. Reiki gives the body the prana, the life force, the chi, to keep things moving. Our body's everything in us is constantly moving. Our bloodstream, our lymph, though our lymph requires activity to really keep detoxing, and our cells and our nervous system and then our energy centers. So Reiki gives the energy to keep things moving. And when things are moving, then anything we come across, any stressors, whatever it may be, moves out, moves through, processes through, and often challenges become, that rich soil for good things to be born. And that, again, is not to mean that when our energy centers are open and we're doing Reiki on ourselves and we're continuing our practice, that we will get past being human and we will never feel grief, we will never feel pain, we won't ever get sick, on and on and on. That has not been my experience, and even the greatest gurus I've seen have had ailments. Ram Dass, Amma, Mother Mira, they're on the human plane. They all get colds, and Eckhart Tolle, and that's just part of being human. But again, the beauty of us being connected and having our Reiki practice, having these times of resting and resetting, having our yoga and meditation practice, enables us to be with these events of our life and our health and to move through them and to continue to kind of resurface through them and create through them and enjoy our lives and serve others. And as a result of, on New Year's Eve, one of the vendors at this Kundalini Yoga event that we were at was a crystal vendor, and she had some beautiful crystals, and I was so drawn to these balls that she had, these selenite balls, and I purchased several of them for my Reiki master class. And since then, I've been carrying my selenite crystal, and then when I lost my voice, I used the selenite crystal quite a bit, but it wasn't really until about a week into recovering that and still kind of feeling a little bit of the remnants in my chest, that it kind of dawned on me, hello, I use crystals with my clients. How about using them on myself for my self Reiki practice? And so I began doing that. I began using, along with my selenite crystal, all of my crystals, especially for the throat, sodalite, and the aventurine and rose quartz for the heart, and a couple different ones for my root. And the experience that I had was quite phenomenal. And I giggled at myself because I, again, use these crystals and treatments constantly. And when you're attuned to the master level, you are able to not only charge your crystals with Reiki, but you can now attune your crystals to Reiki, which is what Mikao Usui did. He attuned crystals to Reiki and gave them to clients that didn't live nearby so that they could continue to receive Reiki through the crystals. So the experience that I had in the shift in my energy centers and in my lungs and in my, vocal cords was phenomenal after that. And I had been doing self-Reiki prior, and also had been also doing my yoga practice as well as acupuncture, and I was quite blown away. And so I really have an admiration towards these beautiful beings, these crystals. And I encourage you, if you have a need, to utilize them with your own self practice, your own self Reiki practice. And to continue to find ways on how you can bring these beings with you throughout your day. I actually take my selenite crystal everywhere that I go currently, and everybody's drawn to different crystals. I did just learn from one of my beautiful Reiki students, and I call her the Crystal Goddess. She actually also is an amazing illustrator and has drawn the illustrations for the hand positions in my new Reiki manuals. Nicolene Story, she mentioned to me recently that selenite is the crystal of the new age, of this Aquarian age. And when she said that, it totally resonated and felt very synchronistic, since it was the crystal that I was drawn to on New Year's Eve. And it is a crystal that helps to align us to our angelic guidance, so our guides, to be able to hear them more clearly. And it helps to clear our magnetic field. So it can be a great crystal to cleanse and clear our aura and, release any low energies that may have been attached. Often people use the selenite wands for that, and to just release those low-bound energies. I have found that it really has an amazing way of opening up the heart center, and sometimes I even use it around my root center, and though it's really focused more on the higher centers, opening us up and connecting us to our higher awareness, I have found it to be really grounding. And I think that one of the reasons that it does that is because that it also aligns the skeletal system. So it's great for putting it on your, around your back, especially if you have any issues with your skeletal system. And I find that very grounding, because our skeletal system, is the bone structure. It's the denser part of our physical body. So I invite you to explore that particular crystal, but also to, just find the ones that resonate for you and to integrate them into your practice. That they're wonderful aids along with our Reiki practice and our yoga practice, these crystals, to support us in this time. They're elements like water, like fire, like air, like ether. They're the elements of the earth that are here to support us. And many, crystals are used in many electronics, and then obviously they're used in homeopathic style of healing. And of course, if you're not attuned to Reiki, you can definitely also utilize these crystals, whether you are or not. I have found that they just both enhance each other. And so I want to invite you now to, if you can, and of course you can always pause at this portion of the podcast and restart when you're able to be in a more reclined position, to find any crystals that you have in your home, and we ask that you cleanse and clear your crystals if they haven't been already. So if you're Reiki attuned, you can cleanse and clear your crystals with your power symbol and just charging it up. If you're not, you can dip your crystals in sea salt, bathe them in that for a little while. You can have them soak in the moonlight or in the soil. And the selenite, Nicolene so beautifully shared with me, and I'm going to also share with you her website. It's nicolenestory.com. So she shared too that selenite should not be placed in water because it will eventually dissolve. Other crystals you can put like in salt water, but selenite do not. And so after cleansing your crystals, find yourself a comfortable position and place your crystals anywhere along your chakras that you feel guided to. Often the crystals that are associated with the color of that particular chakra are the ones to use for each chakra. Red being root, and any kind of red ruby, or any kind of the denser browns or beiges or zebra jasper. And then moving up to your sacral chakra, carnelian, kind of a reddish orange. And there are others for sure. I'm just naming a few. And then as we go up to the solar plex, yellow calcite is a good one. And of course the heart centers, green, you can use jade or aventurine, or of course the pink rose quartz. And then solidite for the throat. Hematite is also good. And then amethyst for the third eye. Of course, I also like to use the selenite for the third eye as well. And then the crown, you've got your master quartz, you've got epiphyllite. It's countless ways. So, and of course, if you don't know any of these things and you just have a few crystals after cleansing them, just ask the crystals where they would like to be placed on your body. And then just let yourself rest. Taking a few cleansing breaths where you inhale fully, filling up in your energy center, your dantian, and then exhaling through your mouth, just releasing. Completely. Just melting into wherever you may be laying on. Maybe you're out in nature, and wouldn't that be lovely? Just on a patch of grass. And if you don't have any crystals, don't worry about it. Just rest. And just soak up the moment. Just being present with your breath, with your body, with your connection to the earth. And if you are Reiki attuned, I invite you to, if you'd like to move into your Gasho, Reiki Ho. And again, these formalities are not necessary when you're doing Reiki on yourself, but I just find them to be enhancing, so you can use them. And of course, add any symbols that you like. And at this time, you can pick up your crystals and charge up your crystals. Reiki masters can attune their crystals and then replace them where you'd like them to be. And then along with your crystals being placed along your body, you can begin your hand positions. And you can put your hands right over the crystals, or if you prefer, when you're moving into one area of your body where the crystal is, you can just slip the crystal aside for a while and then put the crystal back after you're done with that hand position. And that's the beauty of crystals and self-treatment, is that it's like having multiple hands, Reiki hands, and it can really intensify in a good way your experience of the treatment. And so I just invite you to continue basking and continue with your self-treatment and taking your time with it. You can pause this podcast until you're complete. And again, as you move through all the hand positions, continuing to let go and let Reiki and let go and let your body do what it was designed to do. And that's the beauty of the partnership between Reiki and your body, is that Reiki just ignites that natural ability of your body to restore and to return to wholeness, to its natural state. It cleanses and clears and detoxes and realigns. It is such a reflection of nature, where it goes through the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Things emerge that feel like death in our bodies or in our psyches, and they clear out, and then there's new skin, new cells, new tissue, new ideas, new feelings, new sensations. And so just allow that. And then the beauty of our practice is that we get to be connected with our breath, and we get to connect with that, as Pamela Miles calls it, that primordial consciousness, which she describes as being Reiki, which is the ultimate creative power of the universe. And these practices help us to connect to that essence, that universal consciousness, that source. And the more and more we develop that connection through our practices, the more we're able to be containers to all of life's events, less swayed even by our own particular dramas, neuroses. We're less taken down by them and more able to just observe them and watch them pass. So just enjoy as you practice here, and rest and reset and renew. And then as you complete and emerge, I always like to take a moment, just any gesture of gratitude to yourself, to this practice, to Reiki, to your accompanying crystals, and take a moment as you gently return, always hydrating, which also helps us to ground. And setting that intention in 2015 to practice in this way, and to give yourself the gift of resting and resetting until it develops into a practice that you can do at any given moment. And also inviting you in 2015 to explore new ways of bringing these beautiful beings, crystals, into your practice. And just grounding yourself back into the present, into the space that you are in, feeling the earth beneath you and your breath and your body. And just enjoying this gift. As always, it's such a pleasure to share time with you and to speak with you and to share some of these gems that I learned along the way, and particularly these amazing practices, which I truly believe are one of the gateways and the essence of this new time that we're living in. As things around us, continue to escalate, and we see quite a bit of chaos in the world as the new time is here, and the old ways no longer work, and some of the struggles in the letting go of those old ways. These are really the practices that will move us through this time and really build this new world which we are all co-creatingly building in a sustainable whole world. It was Mikao Usui's vision that Reiki would be a part of, would help to heal this planet and humanity, and I hold that same vision, and I believe it is happening. So, and I look forward to sharing more of these practices with you, and sharing Mikao Usui's gifts with you, along with all the other Reiki masters that have added to this beautiful practice in the various arenas, the trainings and Reiki circles. And I'm very excited to be also co-leading a retreat with Jessica Schmidt in the fall, and talk about a time of resting and resetting. This will definitely support you in that. We are going to be on the, of course, rich landscape of Maui, and we have an oceanfront property in one of the most pristine bays on the island. I feel really grateful to be able to take you there this year, and we're going to be, of course, basking in the aloha energy of the island, as well as our yoga and Reiki practice, and infusing that into our sacred ventures throughout the island, and practicing in that practice of reciprocity where we give back through our presence and through our practice, and developing that, to bring into our everyday life. So I'm really excited to be sharing that with you. And this is a co-ed retreat, so it is open to men, women, couples, and I think you're really going to really enjoy this time out in Maui. So do register before March 23rd in order to get a savings, and do tell your friends about it. And nurses get continued education units, 15 for this retreat. That's also true, nurses, for all of my Reiki events in California. So I look forward to, for some of you that may be listening to me from other regions, other states, countries, I would love to meet you at this retreat. To be a lovely meeting point. So, wishing you many rich blessings, sending much love, much aloha, Reiki love your way. Sat Nam and Namaste.